Hi, I'm Eric Hovde. I'm running for the U.S. Senate right here in our great state of Wisconsin. Why am I running? Because our economy is a mess. We're having trouble growing at 2%. We have an 8.2% unemployment rate. But what is really scary, we are racking up so much debt that we're headed towards a financial collapse. I'm not a career politician, nor am I a career candidate. I've spent the last 25 years of my life in the private sector, building companies, turning around companies, creating hundreds of jobs, and I've operated in the financial sector where so many of our problems have emanated from. Now here's my plan to get our economy turned around. It's an 8-point plan. Point 1, we need to balance our budget. We need to tackle this deficit problem. Within a couple years, we have to get to a balanced budget and then start whittling away at the $16 trillion of debt that is strangling our economy. Second, we need to overhaul our tax code. We need to get economic vitality going again. We can't be a strong economy when we have the highest corporate tax rate in the world. Plus, our tax code is littered with corporate welfare, where big giant corporations who have bought off career politicians operate with a fraction of the tax rate that are small businesses, creating an unequal playing field. So I believe we need to drive down our corporate tax rate and get rid of all the corporate welfare. Third, we need to deregulate our economy. Our economy is being choked by regulation. Much like President Reagan did when he came into office in 1981, he pushed a big deregulatory process and freed up our economy, allowing small businesses to start and create jobs. We need to do that again. Fourth, it's time to deal with the Fed. The Fed has been at the heart of so many of our bubbles and problems. The internet bubble, the housing bubble, the government spending bubble. I believe we need to audit the Fed. I believe we need to get rid of the dual mandate of full employment, because quite often when the Fed is trying to create full employment, all they do is create a bubble that creates a lot of unemployment. And third, I think it's time we start appointing people to the Federal Reserve Board that have actually operated in the global capital markets. Fifth, our financial service industry. So many of our economic problems have emanated out of that because of the big giant banks on Wall Street or global money center banks. It's time to stop allowing them to have special privileges. Dodd-Frank, in my view, was a disaster. It embedded these companies as systematically important, too big to fail. In my view, if you're too big to fail and will require a government bailout with our taxpayer dollars, you're too big to exist. They should either be broken up or be forced to have so much capital that they will never fail again. 6, we need to repeal Obamacare. Our healthcare sector will soon become the biggest sector in our economy. I think it is wrong direction to be centralizing control of healthcare up to a bunch of bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. I think it will destroy the quality of our healthcare as well as head our country towards bankruptcy if we don't change course now. I believe in putting the power back to people and having decisions made at our community level. 7, energy independence. Career politicians have been talking about it for 40 years, but nothing has changed. We're importing so much of our resources from overseas, from the Middle East, and many of them are adversaries of our country. We're just transferring wealth from our country to other countries. We need to use our own resources. We have abundance of resources here in the good old US of A, and it's time we start using them. 8, cronyism. Cronyism is polluting our free market system and our democracy itself. It's where big giant companies or public unions have access to our public purse. We are having our taxpayer dollars being distorted to these special interest groups because career politicians, that's how they get their money. Campaign contributions, and then they write laws or create earmarks or manipulate the tax code for certain people that have those contacts and have given career politicians money. I think we have to get rid of cronyism and rip it out at its core. Now, I strongly believe if our country can adopt this plan, we can avert financial collapse, we can turn our economy around, and we can continue to be an economic engine for the world and make America the strongest economy, not just in the near future, but for generations to come. I'll ask for your support, and I hope you help me get to the U.S. Senate.